Hey everyone, I'm Sharik, and welcome to YBR, The Sword and the Story. Here, every Friday and Sunday at 9 p.m., we bring you stories from history that are full of surprises, drama, and the kind of moments that make you say, I can't believe that actually happened. If you love World War II, epic battles, and real-life stories that feel like you're living them, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to tap the bell icon. That way, you'll be the first to see every new story we upload. Today, we're diving into a story that shocked the Germans, stunned the battlefield, and changed the course of history. The T-34 tank, a machine that Hitler laughed at until it tore through his army. Get ready, because history is about to come alive. German soldiers mocked the toy T-34 until it smashed through their lines. June 23, 1941. Near Brest-Litovsk, Western Soviet Union. Dawn presses faint light through a low wall of smoke. The air is thick with burning wheat, diesel fumes, and the distant thud of artillery. German infantry advance confidently across the fields, rifles slung, uniforms still crisp from victory in Poland, Denmark, France. They have been told this invasion will be quick, easy, a final strike to crush the backward Soviet colossus. Panzer Commander Oberleutnant Karl-Heinz Bent lowers his binoculars, smirking. No proper tanks, just tractors with guns, he mutters to his gunner. Berlin has repeated this message for months. The Red Army is a joke, a poorly trained force fighting with outdated machines. German engineering, German tactics, German speed. These are unstoppable. Everyone believes it. And then, something moves in the smoke. First, just a silhouette. Bulky, low, almost hunched to the ground. A tank, but strange. No flat plates like German panzers. Armor is angled, like the side of a stone wedge cutting through earth. The sun glints off a thick, round turret. It keeps coming. Slow, silent, unbothered. Another shape emerges behind it. And another. Bent's smirk disappears. Was ist das? His radio crackles with nervous voices. Others have seen it too. Enemy armor, new type, moving straight toward us. The German line opens fire. PaK-36 anti-tank guns bark, their 37mm shells shrieking across the field. They hit the leading Soviet machine. Sparks dance, metal screams, but it keeps driving forward. No penetration. The gun crew stare in disbelief. Their weapons, so reliable in every invasion before this, suddenly feel like pea shooters. Inside the Soviet tank, the T-34, though the Germans don't know the name yet, driver Nikolai Pankratov grinds his teeth as machine gun rounds ricochet off the hull like hailstones. The interior is cramped, hot, deafening. He can taste the bitter smoke of burnt cordite. Beside him, Commander Sergeant Ivan Sutnikov shouts into his throat mic, "Forward! Push through them." The 76.2mm cannon booms. A German Panzer III erupts into a column of flame. For the first time in the war, German armor is prey. Bent shouts for his driver to reverse, too late. The ground shakes as the Soviet tank smashes straight over a sandbag position, chewing it beneath its tracks like paper. A PaK-36 crew scrambles backward, terror on their faces. Bullets don't stop it, fear doesn't either. The T-34 doesn't maneuver like German tanks, it charges. Why doesn't it stop? Why isn't it dying? Because what the Germans are seeing isn't just a new vehicle, it's a new era. The Wehrmacht had studied Soviet industry. They believed it was incapable of innovation, incapable of mass production. They imagined peasants in muddy factories hammering together crude, unreliable machines. But the T-34 is different. It is modern, engineered, born for this war. Sloped armor that deflects German shells. Wide tracks that glide through mud and snow. A diesel engine less likely to burst into flame, and a powerful gun that kills at range. It is everything German officers claimed the Soviets could never build. Bent feels it in his bones. This is not a skirmish. This is a message. The radio erupts. New tanks, invincible, requesting all support. Another panzer explodes.
The field becomes a graveyard of burning metal and twisting steel. German soldiers who days earlier marched into the USSR with songs and cheers now stare at these ghosts of iron advancing through fire like ancient warriors reborn. The Soviets had been beaten back for 2 days, thousands of vehicles destroyed, entire divisions encircled. But here, in this moment, this single machine has reversed the psychology of the battlefield, and it's only the beginning. Far behind the lines, in a command post lit by harsh lantern light, General Heinz Guderian leans over a map. Reports of a new Russian heavy tank pile on his desk, every message more frantic than the last. Gun crews are abandoning positions, panzer units are requesting tactical retreat. Guderian, the architect of Blitzkrieg, feels a rare chill crawl up his spine. Something has appeared on this front that breaks all his assumptions. He mutters a phrase almost no German commander ever expected to speak in this war. We underestimated them.
Then, another report. This new tank isn't rare. It isn't experimental. It's everywhere. The Red Army hasn't produced a handful. They have produced thousands. Guderian's eyes narrow. What kind of enemy have we awakened? The Soviet factories, hidden deep in the east, are only just beginning, and the T-34 is only their first answer. Germany believed the Soviets were too primitive to challenge them. Now, a steel monster is proving every belief wrong, one fireball at a time. What happens when the world's most confident army realizes its doctrine is obsolete? The shock spreads faster than the flames. German radio channels, once crisp and confident, now blur into static-filled panic. Reports flood in from Army Group Center to Army Group South. Not one sighting, but dozens. Not one breakthrough, but an entire line collapsing. Every commander asks the same question. What is this tank? On the eastern horizon, more T-34s emerge from the dust like a tidal wave of steel. Their engines roar, harsh, animalistic, unlike the polished hum of Maybach motors. You can almost feel the vibration through the ground, like a train passing directly beneath your boots. Soviet crews are exhausted. Many have not slept since the Nazi invasion began 2 days earlier. But inside these iron beasts, fatigue turns into adrenaline, into vengeance. The Germans have come to conquer their homeland. Now the Red Army answers with metal forged for survival. Inside one T-34, loader Mikhail Dronov slams another round into the cannon chamber. His knuckles are bleeding. He doesn't feel it. The gunner aligns the sight. He breathes once. Just once. Another Panzer III blooms into a mushroom of fire. German shells ping and glance off the T-34's hull, useless. Even the feared 88mm guns, the weapon that once dominated European battlefields, now must be brought dangerously close to stand a chance. On a nearby ridge, a German officer watches the impossible unfold. He whispers, "We were told the Russians had nothing." That lie dies today. How did this backward nation create a tank that outclasses the best in Europe? The answer lies far away, not in Moscow, but in Kharkiv, where engineers under Mikhail Koshkin and Alexander Morozov designed the T-34 in secret. They replaced old gasoline engines with diesel, cutting the risk of catastrophic fires. They invented sloped armor, steel angled so that shells strike and vanish into space rather than punching through. It is genius hidden in simplicity. This is not a delicate machine. It is brutal, rugged, and built for the worst battlefield on Earth, the cold, muddy plains of Russia. Where German tanks bog down, the T-34 floats. Where gears freeze, its mechanics keep grinding. It was not designed for parades. It was designed for do-or-die war. When Germany launched Operation Barbarossa, they expected to face relics from an earlier era, the flimsy BT series tanks, the awkward T-26. And at first, that is exactly what they saw. Thousands of outdated Soviet vehicles burned in the Blitz. But Stalin had prepared something no one in Berlin understood. Behind the front lines, in factory halls lit by flickering bulbs, thousands of T-34s were already waiting. A silent army of iron sleeping in the dark. Now, they are awake. For years, the Wehrmacht believed speed and radio coordination would conquer any foe. Their panzers were the spear that sliced through nations. But what happens when your spear meets a wall of armor it cannot pierce? Panzer crews fire again and again, growing more desperate as their rounds ricochet off the Soviet hulls. Inside the T-34s, the vibrations make commanders' teeth chatter, but the armor holds. Fire again. Close the distance. Pray. Some German units resort to direct hits at point-blank range. Others attempt to flank, but wide Soviet tracks glide over terrain that immobilize the German machines. Mud that once protected Blitzkrieg now becomes its tomb. The battlefield has transformed into a chessboard where every German strategy is suddenly obsolete. This is the moment Guderian fears most. The realization that technology has reversed the roles. The hunter becomes the hunted. On the third day of the invasion, German forces finally disable a T-34, its track blown apart by artillery. German officers swarmed around the crippled beast like archaeologists uncovering a deadly relic. They touched the armor, thicker than anything they've ever seen. They climbed the turret, incomprehensibly heavy. They opened the hatch, smelling oil, sweat, and victory, stolen from them. A young engineer, eyes wide, mutters, "We cannot build this. Not quickly. Not like they can." And then the true terror sets in. If the Soviets can make thousands now, how many will they produce when war forces their industry to evolve?
The Eastern Front stretches 2,900 kilometers, too vast to defend against an enemy that refuses to break. Everywhere the Germans push, T-34s rise from the ground like they've been waiting there for centuries. And soon, the weapon will meet its perfect counterpart, a Soviet tank commander who fights like a legend. His name? Dmitry Lavrenenko, the deadliest tank ace of the war. The T-34 has proven it can survive. Now it will show how it can kill. Early October 1941, the wind howls across the outskirts of Mtsensk, carrying the scent of winter and war. The roads are choked with refugees, shattered wagons, bodies of horses, the signs of a nation fighting for its last breath. But among this chaos, a new force prowls. Junior Lieutenant Dmitry Fyodorovich Lavrenenko, 25 years old, wipes soot from his brow as he peers through the periscope of his T-34. He is lean, quiet, more used to action than words. His crew trusts him completely because he never hesitates. German panzers approach the town with the confidence of conquerors. They push forward to complete the encirclement of Moscow, the mission Hitler believes will decide the war. The snow is coming, and Berlin expects a swift victory before the cold sets in. But today, their advance meets a ghost in the trees. Lavrenenko positions his tank in a forested ridge, hiding behind birch trunks scorched by artillery. The Germans roll below, unaware, exposed. A Panzer IV comes into sight. "Steady," he whispers. He waits until the enemy is too close to escape. The gunner locks the sight. Fire!
The first German tank erupts in a blast of orange flame. Seconds later, the Soviet T-34 lunges from its cover like a wolf from the brush. Lavrenenko forces the driver to charge, kicking up earth and snow. The crew reloads, fast, frantic, almost instinctive. Fire again. A second panzer shatters. The German formation stumbles, shouting, reversing, scrambling for cover that doesn't exist. To them, the T-34 is not a vehicle. It is fear in steel form. Lavrenenko pushes further, fearless. German shells ricochet off his armor, sparks without consequence. He fires again, and again, and again. By the time silence returns to the forest, 8 German tanks burn beneath the smoke, destroyed by a single machine that seems to shrug off death itself. One engagement, minutes of combat, 8 kills. Lavrenenko becomes a legend before the Soviets can even print the story. In 2 months of fighting, Dmitry Lavrenenko racks up 52 confirmed tank kills, more than any Allied tank commander will score in the entire war. His tactics are simple, brutal, and terrifying. Strike from where the enemy least expects. Close the distance until accuracy becomes certainty. Attack. Always attack. His T-34 becomes a phantom, appearing, destroying, vanishing before German guns can reply. To the Wehrmacht, he is invisible death. To Soviet morale, he is hope made real. News spreads through battered ranks. One man in a T-34 did this? One of ours? The myth grows. Men chant his name like a shield against despair. But legends are mortal. A fragment from an exploding shell strikes Lavrenenko near Volokholamsk, October 18, 1941. The war has just begun for the Red Army, but for him, it is over. He will never see the victory his actions helped secure. Yet his record, 52 tanks in 10 weeks, stands unmatched. His death proves a truth the Germans still refuse to accept. The T-34 is not just a machine. It is a force multiplied by human will. German officers meet after-action reports with disbelief. How did he destroy so many? Why couldn't we stop him? The answers lie in their own arrogance. They mocked Soviet armor. They misjudged Soviet industry. They underestimated Soviet soldiers. Every battlefield lesson is written in flaming steel, and by late 1941, even the most stubborn generals cannot ignore the signs. Their comfortable belief that Russia is weak is dead. Winter is coming. German fuel is freezing in its lines, and the Soviets are building more T-34s every hour. The game has changed. But Berlin still pretends the enemy remains primitive. Soon, reality will hit them harder than any shell. Because if the T-34 terrifies them now, they have seen only a fraction of what's being forged in the East.
Winter 1941 arrives like a living enemy. Snowstorms bury roads under white armor. Oil thickens inside frozen engines. Soldiers wrap themselves in whatever they can find. Curtains stolen from abandoned homes, scraps of horse blankets, even the pages of books pulled from shattered libraries. Germany expected to conquer Moscow before the cold. Instead, their advance stalls, freezing in place. But while the Wehrmacht suffers in the open, the Soviet Union moves inward. Entire factories, steel mills, engine plants, turret workshops are ripped from their foundations. Trains scream day and night, carrying machinery eastward, far beyond the reach of the Luftwaffe. Thousands of workers ride with them. Engineers, welders, farmers who have never touched a tool, but learn faster than war allows. They rebuild industrial cities in Siberia, in the Urals, in Kazakhstan. Places so deep that German bombers never see them. Production begins again in the howling cold.
The workers wear no gloves, metal freezes to fabric. But they keep going, because every delay means another German tank reaches their homes. At the Stalingrad tractor factory, sparks fly over assembly lines that never stop, not for holidays, not for nightfall. Teenagers rivet armor plates until their ears ring. Women the age of grandmothers haul steel with hands scarred raw. Some mechanics sleep inside the hulls to save time. A T-34 rolls off the line, unfinished paint, rough edges, welds that look like scars. The engine is still hot from testing as the crew climbs aboard. There is no ceremony, no rest. The commander shouts one word: to the front. The tank drives straight out the factory gates, across the snow, into the battle raging only blocks away. The battlefield is the final step of production. Reports reach Berlin, staggering numbers that no one wants to believe. 500 T-34s a month, 1,000 a month, 2,000 a month. It seems impossible. Germany builds machines like luxury cars, precise, refined, expensive, slow. A single panzer takes weeks of delicate craftsmanship. The Soviets build like they are throwing iron fists into a furnace, brutal, fast, unstoppable. And the T-34 does not require perfection to win. It only needs to exist. In a frantic meeting, German officers demand answers. How many do they have? How many can they build? How do we destroy them? The reply is silence. Then a single dreadful sentence: they can build more tanks than we have shells. In fields outside Moscow, German mechanics kick frozen engines that refuse to start. Soldiers huddle around dying fires. Fuel is scarce, ammunition scarcer. Across the line, Soviet engines roar awake. Engines from new factories, fed by endless manpower, protected by half a continent of distance. The T-34 is no longer a shock. It is a flood. German doctrine is cornered. Their technology is outmatched. Their assumptions are shattered. Blitzkrieg, the unstoppable lightning war, is now trapped in a snowstorm it never planned to survive. And the Nazis still have no idea that Stalin has unleashed something even worse, an improved T-34 that will erase any advantage they cling to. If the original could not be stopped, what happens when it evolves?
Spring 1943. Kursk, a quiet city surrounded by endless fields of wheat, becomes the center of the world. The snows melt into thick mud, the kind that clings to boots like fear. But under that mud, tens of thousands of Soviet tanks and guns are hidden, dug in, disguised, waiting. Stalin knows Germany is preparing its next great strike, Operation Citadel. Hitler wants one decisive blow, one final victory on the Eastern Front. But Hitler still doesn't understand what the Soviets have become, because the machines waiting in these fields are not the same tanks the Germans encountered in 1941. The T-34 has changed. The T-34-85, bigger gun, stronger turret, deadlier punch, is introduced. Its cannon can finally outrange the newest German armor. Its turret offers better crew visibility, faster reloads, clearer communication. If the earlier T-34 was a survivor, this one is a predator. July 5th, 1943. Operation Citadel begins with the roar of 2,000 German tanks, including the colossal Tiger I and the brand new Panther. These are engineering marvels: thick armor, lethal 88mm guns, cutting-edge optics. But perfection has a price. They break down. They burn fuel like fire drinks oxygen. They need constant maintenance Germany can no longer afford. The T-34 doesn't strive for elegance. It exists to kill today. At Prokhorovka, one of history's largest tank battles erupts, steel charging steel, muzzle flashes turning the air into a flashing storm. Tanks ram each other. Crews fire at near point-blank range. It is chaos forged into history. A Soviet commander yells through radio static, "Close the distance! Don't give them range!" The T-34s surge forward, not because they are fearless, but because their only safety is in attack. The German Tigers struggle to traverse their heavy turrets fast enough. Panther gearboxes overheat and stall. Wherever the ground softens, Wehrmacht armor sinks like stones. The T-34 rides over it. From the smoke, one truth emerges. Germany built tanks for victory. The Soviets built tanks for inevitability. Hitler had planned Kursk as a demonstration of German dominance. Instead, it demonstrates a nightmare. The Red Army can replace losses faster than the Wehrmacht can count them. Every T-34 destroyed is simply replaced. Every Tiger destroyed is a tragedy Berlin cannot afford. German crews begin to see T-34s not as machines, but as a swarm. An endless, tireless swarm. Back in Berlin, General Heinz Guderian stands before the Führer, weary, defeated by reality more than any enemy. He delivers a warning he knows Hitler will hate more than any battlefield loss. We cannot win a tank war against Russia. They produce 3 tanks for every one of ours. Hitler argues, rages, demands the impossible, but the numbers don't lie. Germany builds a few hundred tanks a month. The Soviet Union builds thousands. And every one of those Soviet machines, even the flawed ones, carries the power of a nation learning, adapting, improving faster than Germany can react. The T-34 has shifted from a shock weapon to a war machine that writes the future. The failure at Kursk is not just a lost battle. It is the moment the Wehrmacht realizes the East can never be conquered. Not when every mile forward is another graveyard of panzers. Not when every destroyed T-34 is replaced before the smoke clears. Not when Soviet factories roar louder each night than the front-line artillery. The T-34 didn't just outfight Germany. It outproduced them. It outlasted them. It outmaneuvered their pride. Germany entered the Soviet Union believing it was superior in every way. Now, shattered, bleeding, retreating, they know the truth. They woke a giant. And the giant built tanks. What happens when the unstoppable machine leads the march back across Europe, straight towards Berlin?